Honorable viewers, I welcome all of you to my YouTube channel, Department of English. Today's topic is Ode to the West Wind Summary. So let's get started. Ode to the West Wind is an ode written in 1819 by the British romantic poet Percy Bysshe Shelley near Florence, Italy. It was first published a year later in 1820 in the collection Prometheus Unbound. The poem is divided into 5 sections, each addressing the west wind in a different way. The first 3 sections describe the wind's power to bring autumn to the land, sky and sea respectively. The fourth section laments that the poet, since his boyhood, has been a children and bowed and lost the freedom he once shared with the wind. The fifth and final section involves the wind as a force of inspiration that can breathe life into the poet's words and spread them throughout the world. The poem's final lines look ahead to the spring that follows winter. Each of the poem's 5 parts contains 5 stanzas, 4 stanzas of 3 lines, and 1 couplet. These stanzas follow the rhyme scheme known as terza rima, made famous by its use in Dante's Divine Comedy. In each terza rima stanza, the first and third lines rhyme, while the second line does not. The final sound of the second line becomes the rhyme for the first and third lines of the next stanza. The final couplet rhymes with the second line of the preceding stanza. The overall scheme of each part of the poem is therefore A, B, C, B, C, D, C, D, E, D, A, E, E. Ode to the West Wind is written in iambic pentameter. The poem opens by invoking its subject, a wild west wind. The first 2 stanzas focus on the wind's role as bringer of death to the natural world, causing leaves to fall like pestilence stricken multitudes, and blowing seeds to the earth, where the lie is like a corpse within its grave. At the end of the third stanza, the poet notes that the wind's Arju, sister of the spring, the east wind will eventually cause their seeds to bloom and fresh birds to return to their trees. The section concludes by observing that the west wind is destroyer and preserver. Destroyer because it brings winter and death, and preserver because it plants seeds and creates the conditions for spring to bring them to fruition. Section 2 looks upwards to the sky, expanding our sense of the wind's power. Loose clouds, too, are shed by the force of the wind as easily as leaves. The poet looks ahead to the fierce, stormy weather the west wind will bring. He says that current cloud escape is just a mild foretaste of the weather to come, like the flying hero possessed dancer, a mint, a finger in Greek mythology who worshipped the gods by entering an ecstatic frenzy. In the final 2 stanzas of the section, the poet again reminds us that the wind is a deadly force. Its sound is a dirge, a funeral song, and by shrouding the night in dark clouds, it will turn the sky into the dome of vast sculpture. The third section of the poem turns from the sky to the sea. Past the poet celebrates the wind's power to waken the Mediterranean Sea. It describes a skein of ancient ruins on the Mediterranean coast. Old places and towers are quivering within the waves' intense day before again expanding our sense of the wind's power by switching focus from the from the Mediterranean Sea to the Atlantic Ocean. Wind can cleave the ocean as easily as the sea. The imagery of flying foliage which began the poem returns again, but transformed, as the poet describes the shapeless foliage of the undersea landscape. The sea blooms and oozes, disturbed by the wind as surely as the trees on land. At the beginning of section 5, the poet limits 4 section 4 the poet limits that if he were any of the things he has described so far, a leaf, a storm cloud, or wave, he would feel no need to address the wind in verse as he is doing, because as a natural part of the landscape he would share with the impulse of their strength. He adds that even in his own boyhood, he was more like the wind than he is now. The comet of their wanderings, the poet prays to the wind, lift me as a wave, a leaf, a cloud. As an adult, he complains he is too burdened by life, by the heavy weight of hours, to share naturally in the freedom and power of the wind. This line may refer to the death of poet's son, William, earlier in the year the poem was written. The final section offers a different prayer to the wind. Now the poet asks the wind to make me the lyre. He imagines himself as a musical instrument producing like the leaves a deep, eternal tone as the wind blows through him. He asks the wind to let his spirit merge with the wind's mightier one. Be thou me impetuous one. Finally, the poet imagines the wind as a spirit infusing his poetry with power, driving my dead thoughts over the universe. He prays that his poem, Woe to the West Wind, infused with this power, will, like the wind itself, hasten the destruction of the old world and the beginning of a new one. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? Commentators have seen Woe to the West Wind as a play for the transformation of both the poet and the world, and their restoration to their lost truthness. One of Shelley's most famous poems, Ode to the West Wind, contributes to Shelley's reputation as one of the foremost English romantic poets. So that's all about Ode to the West Wind for the time being. Thanks for patience hearing. Bye bye.